Here's one thing that it doesn't take a football mathematician to figure out. Even the most diehard 49er fan out there, I think, would admit that the game that was good enough to beat the Dallas Cowboys is a game that gets you beat in Philadelphia this weekend. They have to be better than they were against Dallas to go and get this win out on the road. The Eagles are loaded to bear. They really are. That defense has 39 sacks over its last 28 quarters. That is the highest total over a 7-game span in the NFL over the last 30 years. And when I think about the Eagles, I don't even think of their defense first. They're an offensive team, and that's where my concerns got to lie. And they have that one wrinkle that has been officially a thorn in the side of not just these Niners, but the Niners historically, going back to the best of Russell Wilson with Seattle. They have an incredibly mobile, hard to track down, speedy as hell quarterback in Jalen Hurts. And today on the Morning Roast, Brian Baldinger was talking about how Jalen Hurts can hurt you with his legs and the cannon that he also has.
He is so dynamic. If you give him a lane, he's going to take it. I said this. I remember I was doing a game when he was at Alabama. Alabama, Texas A&M. They were both undefeated. Alabama, A&M. They were both 6-0. Myles Garrett's chasing Jalen Hurts all over the field that day. And I said during the broadcast then, I don't know how fast Jalen Hurts is, but he's faster than everybody else on the field. I never see Jalen Hurts ever get caught. Ever. Like, he's as fast as he needs to be. And he's under control. The guy doesn't blink. He's difficult into getting to him to make an error. That's a challenge for the 49ers, is you've got to get Jalen Hurts to make mistakes. Yeah. However you do it, whether it's blitzes or schemes, or you got to make him miss, because otherwise, if he just stays on point, he's going to make plays. Like, I think he's the best deep ball thrower in the NFL. Yeah. People can challenge me on that, but I've watched him throw 52 plays over 20 yards down the field to A.J. and Devontae and to Goddard. He has got an excellent touch on the deep ball.
He's good. He's real good. He's better than anyone thought that he was going to be. He's better than what Howie Roseman thought he was going to be. He was going to be the stop guy. He was going to be the stopgap quarterback while they found their franchise quarterback. Remember?
Yeah, in Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, and it really bears mentioning, is that part of why Jalen Hurts is as good as he is because the Eagles went out of their way to construct the best offensive line in football. And even if all Jalen Hurts needs is a small crack, those guys present it to him consistently. And that's going to be, I think, where the game is won.
Well, and if you're going to, be one of the best deep ball throwers, you need a little time for that receiver to run deep, and they give him the time he needs.
Or if you just need a second to hit the line and go, they do that too. That's the one place where I think the Eagles are significantly better than the 49ers.
Offensive line?
Yeah, I think their offensive line across the board is superb. They may not have anybody as good as Trent Williams.
Well, Lane Johnson is in any conversation.
But I was about to say, yeah. Lane Johnson is a guy who you mentioned almost immediately after Trent Williams. I'm willing to give the 49ers that because everybody agrees that Trent Williams is the best tackle in football. But the other four positions, the Eagles have it all over them.
Well, Jason Kelce's going to go to the Hall of Fame. That's how good of a center he is. Lane Johnson, I don't believe has surrendered a sack in 2 seasons of football now. I mean, that is a steady Eddie right tackle that you'd think, well, if you're so good, how come you're not playing left tackle? Well, they don't need him to because they've got a very good left tackle as well. As good as Trent Williams, probably.
And Jalen Hurts runs both ways.
He sure does. Look, this is not going to be an easy game. There's nothing easy about the Philadelphia Eagles, including preparing for them. They're going to ask Josh Johnson to put on the green penny this week and pretend you're Jalen Hurts as we're practicing against Eagles looks. You just can't simulate that speed.
You can't simulate that speed, but in practice you're not going to anyway. It's really the choices that Hurts makes and the tendencies he's got. Because the physical attribute, your scout guy will never be as good as the other team's regular guy unless you're playing the Jets. So, Josh Johnson can't replicate the physical skills that Hurts has, but they will ask him to study up and replicate his tendencies. When does he like to throw? Where does he like to throw from? And Josh Johnson's been doing this long enough that he'll be able to provide that for them.
I'll tell you this, in the little bit that I've watched of the Eagles this year, Jalen Hurts throws from everywhere. I mean, he really one of the big nominations for the Oscars today is everything. What is it? Everything, everywhere, all at once. Is that the name of that movie? By the way, spectacular movie. I hope it wins. I really do. I haven't seen all the Oscar nominations, but I saw Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. As unique a movie as I've ever seen. It's really an A+ across the board, and it's a kung fu movie. So how do you argue with that? That's what Jalen Hurts is. He's everything, everywhere, all at once. It can come from anywhere. So that is a tough thing to prepare for. When you look at what Brock Purdy is doing, and let's face it, Brock Purdy has made a living this year out of spitting all over the odds that he's about to fail as a football player. Brian Baldinger, again on the Morning Roast today, was saying that, when you look at Purdy, when you look at his last game or two, it's not a statistical it's not the greatest football that's ever been played, but his greatest attribute is the mistake he seems not to make.
The worst thing you could do with Brock Purdy at this point with me is just look at statistics. Because I see the guy throw the ball away, make the right play, which is throw the ball away, go to the next down, kick the field goal. I mean, those kind of things, you can't get him to make a mistake. You got Dak Prescott to make two bad mistakes. And that was the difference again. They led to 2 field goals. That was the difference in the game.
It was a difference in the game. And look, man, he has just been, playing. What, I mean, can we even say he's over his skis anymore? Or is he comfortably got his boots locked into the binding, and these are the skis that fit him? And the skis say, you're a starting quarterback in this league. I mean, I think that's what we're seeing. The starting point was odd. No doubt about it. But look at where he is right now. He's looking to become the first ever rookie quarterback, by the way, to win a conference title game. So he's now going up against the entire history of professional football, along with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's just the 5th, Ray, to ever even get the shot of trying to be a rookie winning a conference title game. We'll see if he can hit the bullseye. Bucks rookie Sean King lost to the Rams in 1999. Steelers rookie Ben Roethlisberger loses to the Patriots in 2004. Ravens rookie Joe Flacco loses to the Steelers in 2008. A rookie Mark Sanchez and the New York Jets lose to the Colts in 2009. In 7 all-time career starts now, Brock Purdy, has already proven himself better than, the quarterback that he just beat, you could basically say, because Dak is now known for the big mistakes that he's made. Brock Purdy is not identified as that. He has as many playoff wins as Dak Prescott. That's amazing already in his career. And it's just, it's an incredible story that is only going to ratchet up should the 49ers be able to win this game. And the one place, maybe the only place, where the 49ers have the advantage, like the clear-cut advantage in this game, is that the Eagles' run defense has been suspect. 27th DVOA and run defense this year? The 49ers need to, I think, in order to say they're going to the Super Bowl, I think they got to be looking at 200 rushing yards in Philadelphia, Ray. I think they're going to have to just dominate on the ground.
They're going to have to, because the Eagles are the best team in football against the pass.
Well, I think the best Eagles defender, and I'm sure there's a lot of debate about who that is. And look, if you settled on the OG Fletcher Cox, or you wanted to go with Josh Sweat, who's had a huge year, you could do that. To me, it's Darius Slay. Darius Slay is an incredibly good corner. And
James Bradbury, sensational at the other side.
Yeah, you're going to want to play turnover-free football again this week if you're the 49ers. You just saw how devastating it was to Dallas last week.
Yeah. Oh, no. I can't project how this game's going to go, but Philadelphia is not going to give this away. The 49ers are going to have to earn it.
They are. They're going to
because Philadelphia doesn't make that level of mistake that often. And if Miles Sanders doesn't get you as a running back, Boston Scott will. Their they don't have a place where they're actively poor.
Well, and Kenneth Gainwell is a really good running back too. I mean, he makes plays and is in the end zone when I look up more often than not. I mean, he a trusted agent, I guess you could say. If the 49ers win this game, not only did they have a great day running the football against the Eagles, but I think Christian McCaffrey is catching that ball out of the backfield, which is the other area where the Eagles have been weak defensively all year. They got a secondary that can close down your fly patterns, if you will. But catching the ball out of the backfield is something, I mean, you got to be willing to give it up somewhere if you're a defense. You cannot defend every blade of grass. You have to basically concede something, and that is the concession that Philadelphia has made all year. Go ahead and beat us with a running back coming out of the backfield. That sacrifice, that defensive choice, is probably the right one to make against most of the teams in this league. It's also a choice that if you make it against the 49ers, it's where you might get beat, because not only have you got Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield, but you got Deebo Samuel coming out of the backfield. Look for the 49ers to just be like, it's kind of what got Dallas beat last week when they spent way too much time looking for money in the flats. I think there's going to be some money to be found in the flats for the Eagles or for the 49ers at the Eagles this week.
There might be, but you can't ask them to be able to throw the ball out of the backfield and then run for 200 yards. At some point, if you get 200 yards out of your running backs total, maybe you've got an argument, but it can't all run through McCaffrey and Mitchell. It's not feasible, because Philadelphia will not let you do that 70 times. They're going to have to do what they've done all year, which is predicate their offense on the running game, but throw the ball enough times to wide receivers to keep the secondary guys engaged. Because if this becomes a Christian McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell have to save us, they can't do it alone.
They'll just creep up.
Well, yeah. And, Darius Slay's as good against the run as he is against the pass. I mean, that's how good he is. He might very well be the best cornerback in football. So the 49ers basically have to screw up 0 times. They can't punt in a go-for-it situation. They can't have a missed field goal. They can't fumble the ball. They can't throw an interception. I don't want to say they have to be perfect, because you can't be, but they have to be error-free. I mean, they can't do anything egregious, because Philadelphia will torture them.
Hey, it might be a game where they need to steal a possession with a little razzle-dazzle on a fake field goal or a fake punt. It's time to be prepared to get aggressive against a team that could come out like gangbusters at home. It's going to be a fascinating game. It really is. I'm excited for it.
It's the 2 best teams, so it better be.
Well, and it's the game the NFC deserves.
No, the game the NFC deserves is Bears-Packers.
No.
Because this has not been a great conference this year. This has been about 2 teams.
Well, that's the thing. So, and these are those 2 teams.
Okay. Well, if you want to say what they deserve a crappy game. What they're getting is a game much better than the one they deserve.
Well, look, if the cream is supposed to rise to the top at this time of the year, that's exactly what happened. We didn't need to see Eagles-Cowboys 3.0 before we saw Eagles-Niners 1.0.
Or Giants anybody. I mean, everybody sort of liked the Giants as this cute little boutique team. No, they're deficient in a bunch of ways.
Well, they were massive overachievers, which is a compliment to Brian Daboll.
And so was Minnesota. I mean, just you go down the list. There were 2 teams that should be here. And everybody agreed all year long, the NFC is the poorer conference. My only point is, if they got what they deserved, they would have had a crappy conference final. It is their great luck that they got the best one possible.
888-957-9570. Gus, Los Gatos. Hello, Gus. You're on with Damon and Ratto.
Hey, guys. Love the show. I got to admit, I've admitted on your program before, I am a diehard Eagles fan. I'm actually going to the game on Sunday, and just as a fan of football, I cannot wait. I think it's going to be a heavyweight matchup, and both teams match up really, really well against one another. And I think it's going to come down to this. I think if the Niners can run the ball and get into those 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 2s, they're going to have a good shot. If it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 with the pass rush, it's a serious pass rush. I mean, this team almost broke the NFL sack record this year. In my opinion, this is the best Eagles. I haven't been.
Gus, your phone.
I've ever seen.
He's back.
And but I still think this Niners team. Like, I know you're talking razzle dazzle. I think they can line up and play against the Eagles. I just think you're going to be asking a lot from this quarterback you guys have to go into Philly. It's going to be tough for them.
There's no doubt. I mean, look at it this way. Aaron Rodgers. It would be tough on Aaron Rodgers too going into this game. It'd be tough on anybody. That's how good Philadelphia is, and that's how good they've been at home all year. The Niners cannot turn one-dimensional. Even if they start dominating on the ground, like Ray said, they're going to have to do something to back that secondary up and make sure that the safeties aren't creeping up. And I do think that you're going to see Kyle Shanahan as deep in his bag of screen razzle-dazzle in any game you've seen him get there this year, because they're going to need convoys going down the field. They're going to need some downfield blocking to pop on a defense that stays true. These guys don't get caught cheating anywhere.
They've got to deter the rush from teeing off. So that's why what they do every week is what they have to do, and they have to do it incredibly efficiently.
Well,
which is get rid of the ball quickly so that Josh Sweat isn't dancing on your throat.